Folks, what up, fish people? Kenny E. And I am going to be here for a little bit today. I'll do this for probably a couple hours live for you today. I have got to do massive water changes today. I've been behind because of work, so this whole room's got basically the whole lower level. So also, I've got to get all this done before 6 p.m. Pacific because we are going to be having an ACE, Aquatic Sports Entertainment Network live stream this evening at 6 p.m. to talk a little football. So we're going to have that later tonight. But I had to do these water changes, and they always seem to go a little quicker when I'm able to speak to you all while doing them. So that's what we'll do. I'll put you guys over here for now while I'm doing this. And if you're just coming in, say hello so I know who's here. Or if you plan on lurking, go ahead and lurk away. Well, we got a lot of cool things happening. We're getting close on everything finally. Danny and I are working on this lower level again today. We've got a bunch of stuff we're going to be finally getting done down here. Like this room I'm currently water changing will finally be in its new place. Got a few more coats of paint to put on the floor in there, and then I need to put the trim up, and then we're ready to start moving these. I've got to get all these things painted black along with the wood, and we're going to start setting those, and then I'll start getting this first batch behind me over here. This is what we'll be taking first, is this row of tanks. When I get the new one set, we'll get that over, and that will start the series of events then going forward. Then I will paint the ones that these tanks are currently on. That will be row number 2, and that will eliminate the rest of these on this stand. Then this will be stand number 3 in there, and I'll be able to paint it and finish the project and finally have that done. And then we'll be moving on to this room. And as we get this room done, then Danny's craft room will be recovered, and she'll be able to start doing her caves again and start getting our caves built. And then we're going to start building the website a little bit more to our liking. We'll be able to get that the way we have envisioned it. Now, I will say Danny and I have crossed over a little bit here. These reptiles have kind of taken our liking. Hey, what's going on, Adam? Good to see you, man. So anyway, we are probably down the road here going to be breeding a lot of crusty geckos, and then my other thing we plan to specialize in are panther chameleons, and then also red-eyed crocodile skinks are probably the 3 species we're probably going to home in on that we're going to breed. The crusties get on under our skin a little bit. Those things are so cool. And we've got 3 of them already. We are on the lookout for probably at least 3 more. We have 2 males and a female right now. So I probably like a couple more females and maybe another male. We're not going to be breeding them for a couple little ways down the road yet. We want to kind of go about it slowly, make sure we learn this hobby like we learn the fish. As far as husbandry with the reptiles, it's very similar to fish keeping. Keep their enclosure clean, make sure they're well fed. The only exception to them is that, like when we're feeding the crickets and whatnot, we do have to give them a little bit more supplements with calcium, some other reptivitamins that are good for their well-being. That's about the only difference between this and fish keeping, is we do have to add a little more to their food. But Danny is going to be more of that avenue. She'll be spending most of her efforts on the reptiles, and I will be the one holding down the fort for the plecos and all the other fish that we're breeding. We are breeding quite a bit right now. We've got sterbies going, we've got longfin paleotis going like crazy. Some of the orange lasers have been producing now. And then, of course, all these pleco lines. And then we do have a couple species of Africans that are breeding pretty regularly. We have the Judeochromis transcriptus, and then also Frontosis burundis that we have breed every so often. So we'll have those for the websites. We still got quite a bit of shrimp that we are eliminating and moving on from, only because it's not because of lack of love for them. It's just that realistically, with what we have going on in this fish house at the moment, the shrimp are just not feasible. We need tank space for the plecos, and then also we're downsizing still. We're hoping when we're done to be around 40 tanks, and then probably 20 at most reptile tanks as well will be our fish house when we're done. But we do finally see the end of the road here coming, which is awesome. We're getting very close to getting things dialed the way we want. And then our last projects will be getting the kitchen redone, all 3 bathrooms in the house redone. And then we've got a few other things projects wise we want to get done, like I want to build a new back deck, a new front porch. I have to eliminate the front porch concrete slab that has for a porch right now. It's causing grief. It's actually starting to sink. And I'm afraid that that pressure on my foundation is not good. So I'm afraid if I don't do something soon, I'm probably going to have an issue. So that is why we're doing that. All right, so we got Adam in so far. There is a total of 5 folks. What's up, Jody P? Welcome. Decided I'd do a stream while doing water changes a little bit this afternoon. I'm going to be at this for quite some time. I'm just going to go till probably as many as I can get done till about 5:30. Then I have to get ready for my other stream at 6 p.m. tonight. We're going to be firing up the ACE, the Aquatic Sports. It's the Aquatics Sports and Entertainment Network. We've had that. If y'all don't remember, Ed and I had that going every Friday night about 2 years ago. We are going to probably start doing more with that channel. Problem is that between me and Ed, we're pretty busy guys. Between my job and then my full-time work in this fish room, it's kind of hard to break free to stream sometimes. But that is why I figured today I would do a combo stream of water changes and then be able to spend some time with you folks while doing so. I know how much y'all like to hang out, so this will give you the opportunity to catch up with one another while I'm water changing. Plus, I'll be honest, this is the first time since the stroke that I've actually got energy. I'm finally feeling like myself again, where I've got lots of energy and I'm able to do the things I normally used to do. Jody P, how's your world going? Are you getting close here soon to having some of that stuff we talked about at a recent event? Are you getting close? Ew, what in God's name is this? Huh. I always love when I find masses in here of something that I'm not quite sure what we're dealing with. There's no way this is a detritus clump. Look at this guy. Look at the size of that thing in there. What do you suppose that is? I'm thinking it's one of my wife's, what do you call those darn things? Seed or bulb or whatever when you're going to grow a plant. I have a funny feeling that is one of those. No, that is a big old chunk of moss mixed in with detritus is what that is. Huh. I've got to do splitting of this tank because these males have been being very naughty with one another. If y'all have ever raised bristlenose, you know they got those nasty little burrs on the side of their face. Well, unfortunately right now, I have more males than caves, and these males have been fighting each other, and all of their faces are just beat up. The red is gone, and it's just white, meaty stuff. So I've got to get some of these males pulled from here and start some separate colonies with different males. Either that or the easy fix would be just to add more caves, which I might end up doing. I want to redo this whole setup. I don't like the way it is at the moment. When we get them moved to the new room, none of these plecos are going to have soil anymore. I just can't do it. The only one I might make the exception on are the leopard frogs, because they seem to breed better once I got the soil in the tank. But as far as the others, I think I'm going to go back to bare bottom. It's just an easier setup to take care of. And I can always put potted plants or use a lot of Anubias or stuff like that to pull the nasties out of the water. But I'm actually getting excited. We're starting to get a lot of things heading in the right direction. I mean, of course, would love for it to be done so I can see the ending product, but anything good in life has to come with a price, right? Excellent, Jody. That's great news. I'm glad to hear it. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. I have, the one good thing that has come from all this, I am back down to my normal weight now. I'm right at 200 pounds, which is my normal healthy weight. At my heaviest, I had gotten up to about 225, which I felt like an absolute puddle of mess, man. I've always prided myself in staying in shape, but I'm old. We tend to do a lot more weight gain and the older we get, so I keep that in mind. We do have one more fish event this year that we have to vend, and then I'll be done with that for the year. Then I think the next event we will be at, I think there'll be one more Pacific Northwest aquarium swap one, and then it will be Findig. This year, the AGA will be teaming up with Findig, so I think that is probably, if you're thinking about going to a West Coast event, that would be the one I would put on your calendar for next year. Actually, there's going to be two good ones, really good ones out here this year as well. The Seattle Aquarium Society will also be doing an event this next year, and I think they're doing theirs in October as well. I don't have exact dates, which I do apologize for that, but they're actually going to be teaming up and doing a catfish event with some of the catfish clubs. So that is going to be awesome as well, and I'm most likely see me and Danny vending both Findig and that one. Obviously, you guys all know that Danny and I have kind of specialized into the plecos now, so it kind of goes hand in hand with what we do. So that's probably why we'll end up vending that event, I'm sure. And I can't get over how much detritus was in the back corners here. It's one thing, if you're ever going to keep plecos, man, if you're not one that likes to do an abundance of water change, I would never recommend getting into plecos, because you've got to be on these guys. Like, I didn't get my normal midweek water change on them like I usually do, so these tanks are really bad today. Like this one, I think I did this one last Friday, so I didn't get one all week. So I am seriously pulling some detritus out of this one. Danny's upstairs working away. I can take you guys up and show you her progress while I'm still waiting for this one to drain a little bit. But she's been real busy. House is a complete disaster. We got projects in every room at this point. But I'll show you guys what she's been working on. So, this is one of them. This enclosure is going to be for King, our our little day gecko. She's redoing all of them and putting them all in repti cages instead of what they're currently in. This guy is going to be for our skinks.
They have the ability to enjoy.
Let me show you what we got going on back here. And she's actually on the back deck here to show you guys the stuff she goes through just to make. So she is currently smashing charcoal. That's part of the mix she makes for these aquariums. She'll put cocoa.
Specific charcoal though.
It's what's going on there, Adele? And we'll show you what she's already somewhat accomplished in here. So this is the paludarium for the frogs. We're on the last step. As you can see, we got water in it now. So we're going to have our little white tree frogs in there. Here's one of the babies we picked up at the reptile show. This is one of the lines we're going to play with. Ain't he pretty, little Cresty? Then, of course, this is our bogey, our little panther chameleon. Now, both of these 55s are going to get back to being fish tanks. So this gal is going to end up in the same size that I showed you with in the other room there, the bigger one, longer one she's going to end up in. Same thing with the day gecko. Now the day gecko, that's that one I showed you first. That's who's going to end up in that. And as you can see, our little day gecko has not missed many opportunities for food. He gets his share of food. But what's going to be cool when we're done with this room, it's mostly going to be reptiles. Danny wants to keep the king tigers and the axolotl in here. These two are going down into the pleco room. So it's going to open up all this space for her. And she does have for him a 5 foot tall, I think it's 5 by 3 by 2. So it's 5 foot tall, 3 feet in depth, or excuse me, 3 feet. I think it's 3 feet long and 24 deep. So he's going to be getting quite the. He's looking at me like, "What you got for food, man?" Anyway, so that's what we got going on with all that. So we're starting to get excited. We're starting to get a lot of stuff going, which is going to be beneficial for us to finally start taking back the rest of the livable part of the house so we can get things done the way we need to get them done. But being that I'm up here, I figured I might as well get myself a little bit of tea and then head back down. I was thinking coffee, but I'm getting kind of burnt out on coffee at this point, so we'll go with the tea. Jody, what are you talking about? You're already skinny as a rail, so how much more weight could you possibly lose? How you doing, Adele? What the heck you been doing today? You have to work or you off today? And as I always say when I just do a pop-up, guys, if there's normally somebody you go watch on Saturdays, I'm not here to step on anybody's toes. I just figured I'd be here if folks needed it. If there's somebody you normally watch on Saturday, feel free to do whatever you do. Morning, Dave. Yeah, mine are way behind, Adele. I had to get this done today. One thing I've noticed when I'm doing them, if I stream, it tends to go a little quicker if I'm streaming while doing it. So that's why I am streaming while doing it, because it makes it go a little quicker. While I'm in here, if you're new to the channel, I'll show you this room. This is the old, it used to be the live bear room. This is where I kept most of the live bears, but since then this room is actually going to be torn down, and I'll show you guys what I've got going on. So that tank holds all of my Super Red colony. These guys down here are my L236RB line colony. And everything in this room, with the exception of the 306s and the 397s, all are breeding actively. So there's my RB line. These are the 397s, and as you can see, I keep a lot of green in here, so we have extreme green water. But I'm trying this because I've talked to a couple different breeders, and they've all told me that when they got them breeding, they were in solid green water. So I'm going to let that go for a bit until I start seeing babies. Now in here, I won't be able to show you them, but I have an active breeding colony of L157 red spot bristlenose in here. And then in here, I have my 306s and some jellyfish that I thought I had eradicated all of them out of this tank, and some more eggs that got free. So I've got about 5 or 6 of them I have to pull. Now when we redo this tank, I'm going to probably designate as one of the grow outs for bristlenose, and these guys are going to end up in a 40 where I can better regulate what they're eating and all that. And then down below here, this is one I quite enjoy tank. This is probably, as far as plecos, the one that I've got the most time invested in. Look at that one sitting there just chilling. But this is our leopard frog colony. And they are just amazing. They breed like crazy. Just to give you an idea, I'll show you under this log. Whenever I take it up, you'll see them all. They're just piled under there. Look at them all. Aren't they cute? Just bunches and bunches and bunches of leopard frog babies. And there is one of the adults. Look at how pretty they are. But I've been breeding these now for almost 1.5 years. It took me, all said and done, about 3 years to get everybody finally breeding the way I wanted. So it's one of my favorite projects in the house, just because of the sheer time it took me to do it. Now I do have these guys in here right now as well too. They're probably not going to stay in the actual pleca room, so I'm not sure where they're going to end up. They're going to end up somewhere in the fish house. I just don't know exactly where yet. That will be at 6 p.m. Pacific there, Pepland. 9 p.m. Eastern will be the football stream this evening. I decided to fire up a stream while I was doing my water changes. Always seems to make the water changes go a little quicker if I'm entertained by you folks. So that's why I like to do them while I'm doing this. All right, let's take you guys and flip it around. There we go. Yeah, I know for a lot of folks with the Sunday night stream, it's just not as easy to do. And Pepland, thank you so much. Shows that you've been a member for 47 months. Next month will be 4 years, which is awesome. Where is that time gone, Pep? Seems like I just met you, and now it's been 4 or 5 years. All right. Hey, Sage, good to see you. Now, I don't know if anybody's planning on it local here, but Greater Portland Aquarium Society's meeting is tomorrow. Danny and I are still debating because we got so much to still do around here if we're going to go or yet or not. I mean, I want to, but then the other side of me says, no, I don't want to, because that'd be another full day of water changes I could be dedicating. And that's kind of what I'd rather be doing. But I'm sure the Holtzes will call me later today and want to know if I'm going, so we shall see. If I get most of this done today that I'm looking to get done, then I probably will have time to go tomorrow. Which I'm hoping that's the case, because I always like going to the club's meetings. And then on the 29th of this month, we will be at the Pacific Northwest Aquarium Swap. So hopefully we'll remove most of the plecos we have left for this season. I'm sure I'll have a few left here and there, but to the most part, I hope to get most of them gone. I still got to get off a couple of packages. One to Stephanie with Aquaria Life. I'm hooking her up with one of my flash plecos, and then I've got a shipment I'm going to send to June. I got to figure out how to do that stuff. It's been kind of difficult of late because of my job. It's been really hard to break free to even do that. But I'm going to try to get that done this week before it gets too cold. Both of them live in California, so I can get away with it. Probably won't put a heat pack because I don't want the bad boys to get cooked, because I know June especially, even though it's October, she's probably still hitting 90s, I'm sure, 90 to 95. Stephanie's about the same book, so they both live in areas where it stays warmer. So I just have to worry about getting it out of Portland, which the way I bag and the way I ship, I'm not too concerned about them getting too cold because I put them in a pretty well insulated box. I'd much rather them be a little cold than too hot. And those 72-hour heat packs, man, those things cook for, I think they get up to a total of like 120 degrees. So I mean, if you send them to an area where it's hot, it could become an issue. But I'll keep an eye on it. We got plenty of heat packs, so I'd rather check and see what they're at. Maybe I'll try to get that off this week too. Just feels good finally to unwind down a little bit, where I really get upset when my hands aren't in these tanks. It's going to feel good to finally starting to have a little more time where I can get a lot of this done, where I haven't had that in the past. So no, I think it gave you back your time, didn't it, Peplin? Or are you saying because I turned them off and wouldn't count those months, is what you're saying? I get what you're saying now. I understand what you're saying, Pep. I'm sorry, buddy. We had to get... I mean, if we wouldn't have took those break, I don't think we'd be even as far as we are. It really helped out because Danny and I could just get up in the morning and go until we went to bed at night. Not having to worry about streaming or doing other things that would normally take some of our time. Helped immensely. If you guys have ever done projects, you should know it. Nothing sucks more than when you're 3/4 of the way there and then you got to stop to go get something else done. And that is how you end up behind on all your projects. You're too busy. God, I just wish I can't wait till I get all these plecos in bare bottom tanks. So the only thing I made a mistake on in this room is putting sand in these tanks, which I will correct it. I've actually got new tanks and stuff that I can set up and just transfer the fish when I get to that point. This particular pleco tanks, I'm gonna make sure I either put a hang on the back or some sort of filter of some sort, because they're just way too piggy not to have a bunch of filtration. I thought we were going to be able to get by with just the sponges, but unfortunately it's not working out, so we're going to ultimately end up having to figure out what we want. I did have a little Fluval 407 or whatever, but it doesn't seem to be working correctly. All right, that's probably as much as I want to take out in one sitting for these guys. Make sure they got air still making it to that tank. Now we'll start on the RV line. Now these guys have slowed down, and I know why. I should be correcting that problem. Pretty sure it's because I stopped feeding a lot of the meatier type foods, the bloodworms and the brine, and when it comes to these meat eaters, they like a good portion of that meat up in their diet. All right, we'll stick this here. This is the way I'm doing it right now, Dave. My stream on tomorrow and the one tonight won't be this way. Normally when I do these daytime streams like this where I'm doing water changes or whatever, I use the YouTube platform to do those. So that is why you're seeing this format in lieu of the other. Yeah, I can sure tell it's been a week because almost every one of these pleco tanks is just crammed full of detritus. But they'll be good and clean today. Let's see here. What's going on, Drew? What's going on, Ben Sharp? Good to see you. Little water changes today. Get everybody caught up. My work week this week buried me. I didn't get a chance. Normally, I got opportunity while working to do water changes during the week. This week, I wasn't able to do that. We were too busy. It's good to be busy with work, but at the same time, it gets me behind on other things. But we're always busy in the timeshare exit business this time of year because everybody's maintenance fees become due in December and January. So we always get real busy this time of year. Everybody wants to get out of their timeshare at the same time, it seems like. And if you guys do have a timeshare and you're tired of it, that's what I do for a living, is I legally get people out of timeshare. So if you don't want to put up with it or don't want to keep it, reach out to me. I'd be able to help you. All right. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the heck the deal is with these guys. I haven't gotten a batch out of them probably in about 2 months, 3 months. Usually they give me 2, sometimes 3 batches a year. So I'm not sure why all of a sudden they're not wanting to breed as much as they were, but figure it's their life. They can breed when they want to. All right. And I usually wait till I'm about 4 tanks into it before I fire up the water. So that way I don't have to worry about filling tanks is catching up to the ones that are draining. That way I got time to. But then once I get the water filling, I let it go as long as I can, and I usually for sure will get these 2 back rooms done, and then I might need to turn it off for a bit, which is fine because I'll need time to start draining the 240 and the 300 and a couple others. I'll have time. What's up, Vanowski? Good to see you, brother. Just water change, Bubba. Just water change. I've got probably 30, maybe even 40 tanks I'm going to do today. It just depends on how long my energy lasts. What's up there, Bear Bottom? Good to see you, Brendan. You got some fish leaving the area? I did enough of that last weekend, Ranton. I bet you I bagged at least 400, most likely 500 fish, and shrimp, and everything else I had to bag, plants. The Fishtoberfest wasn't a failure, but I don't think it was as good as it's been in years past. I just think it was not nearly the turnout that we've seen in years past, and it just wasn't as the same feel that it's been in the past. Still had fun. Got to see Bentley, got to see Amisa, and I got to see Luke, and I got to see Nico from Sacramento. Lots of people from the Seattle club. Got to see Bentley. He hung out at our table for a while. We did get to see Dean while there. So we saw him. Quite a few YouTubers there. And of course Sue Moore Guppies was there. She was sharing a table with me, or a booth. We went in halvesies on a booth, so she's another one. If you guys don't know Sue Moore Guppies, you need to check her out. She always has out just insane lines of guppies. She may be a good one for you to reach out to one day, Miss Jody P. She actually prefers to sell her fish that way, where she's doing mass quantities, wholesale level. That's the way she likes to do them, so. Well, this has got to be a first. I've got a female RB line begging somebody to let her in a cave, and none of the males will let her in. She looks like she's full of roe, too. So I think tonight these guys are going to get a heavy dose of probably a little brine along with some bloodworms, and see if we can get these males in the mood to breed. Pretty much anything they all produce in the next few weeks here won't be ready for... If they breed this week, I would have them ready by April, though. It's one thing about these plecos, if you're feeding a good diet, they tend to put on the weight pretty quick. Unless they're a 157, those little guys take forever to grow, it seems like. I suppose I should go find my safe. Yeah, if you guys have large fish rooms, I'm telling you, this is the only way to go, man. This little bottle here will do this entire fish house for about 6 months. Sometimes longer, but this stuff lasts forever. Yeah, she's always got pretty wild stuff, Jody. Hers are very solid, beautiful lines. I know some of her lines are my old lines, and I know what I had. Thank you so much for becoming a member, Jody. Appreciate you. And so you guys know, if you are members of our channel, the number one benefit you get as being a member of our channel is there's an extra 10% off at our website. So if you ever want fish or anything like that, or Peckle Caves and all that, once the site's fully up and operational, you will be able to take advantage of that. That is our other goal, is to have that with all the products we want and everything on there. I want to start really getting that website going the way it's supposed to be. I more than less set it up, so I had it up so I could finally get that off the plate, because we'd already been paying for the domain name for like 6 years and never even used it. So I figured at least now I'm using it. Yeah, I know. She's going to be making a batch as soon as we just want to get these last projects done, get this pleco room over, get this room stripped, cleaned, repainted, all the stuff we need to do in here, get this room going so we can start then we'll start disassembling the craft room, and it'll become a craft room again. The only tanks that will be left in there when I'm done are probably the 50 lowboy and the 240. So I'm sure she's going to want to redo the 240 eventually. Now, one of the other projects I got to get done this weekend, hopefully if I get enough time, I'm probably going to have to work on that tomorrow. It depends on how far I get with these water changes today. But I need to break down the 72-gallon bow front that the Banded Gudgeons are in, because the brace broke, and that I'm just a nervous wreck knowing that 72 bow front has no support really. So if it ever decided just to give out, it could. I'm going to replace that up there. We're going to angrily put a 125 tall, and that's going to be the new home of my Banded Gudgeons and all those cool plecos we have up with them. It's funny, I've got some of my baby leopard frogs that think they're going to be like the big boys and take over caves. What's going on, Big Steve? Good to see you. What's going on, Hobda? Steve again. So I got a pair of Steves in here. Good to see you both. So Jody P, I did make you a moderator, where if you want to drop the link to your website that's going to be dropping, you're welcome to do so. That's why I made you a mod. So you can promote your new thing coming down the road. And one of these nights, maybe we'll have you up on Danikin's Sunday night stream and we'll talk about it once you're closer to that point. We'll have you up on our stream and see if we can't promote it a little bit for you. So guys, if you don't know Jody P, she's been around for quite a while, but she is going to be having some ginormous things coming down the road here. That website she just dropped, that link, is a place where she is going to be making the magic happen. So we definitely keeping an eye on her channel and checking out what she has going on. She's going to have a lot of stuff going on in the next few months, so definitely keep an eye on her. Going to be good things for the fish fam. Especially for those of you that like to breed and get an overstock of fish. I think Jody P is going to be everybody's savior. But I think it'll be pretty cool to go to one place where you'll get to see all the hobbyist bred stuff in one location. Will be amazing. Of course, this time of year, most folks start to shut off shipping, and we are one of them. I don't like to ship fish in the winter time normally, so. Oh, great. We'll set something up, Jody. My wife gets so mad at me because I'll clean it out once in a while, but I like these pleco tanks because most of them I can't put plants in. They just don't seem to stick around when I got the plecos in here. So what I've done is I've got duckweed in a lot of these tanks because it helps absorb some of the nutrients out of the water. My wife hates these tanks. She hates the duckweed. But I believe it's a necessary thing. Yeah. Drive some fish over. Yes, ma'am. You never know. I've been known to hop in my truck and take off on nationwide adventures. I would like to do that again, but I think I'm going to wait the next one until I'm retired, so I have no reason to have to come back, and I can take my time and go across it the way I want to, where I get to spend as much time in each area as I want. That was the problem with the last time I did that tour, is I was under time restraints. My wife will still put me on them, I'm going to tell her, you're giving me more time. Because she's the one that's in charge of the tanks and stuff while I'm gone, so of course she don't like to be gone too long. Because she has to do work then, but she's not accustomed to having to do too much of the heavy lifting around here. I do most of it. She gets to do all the fun stuff like escaping tanks and all that good stuff. God, already an hour into the stream. Seems like we just got started. Scary thing is I'm an hour into the stream and I've only got one tank drained. So anything I hate about this particular setup is it takes forever to drain them. Especially when I get to like this lower tank I'm doing now. It seems like it takes forever to drain them. But then I'll get it to a certain level and everything will start falling into place and then I'll be fine. Yeah, with these plecos, Ben, I just find that the duckweed tends to keep the water a little nicer. I can't allow it to get too heavy because then when we go to bag, it gets in the way. I hate when I get duckweed in the bag, so I keep moderate levels of duckweed in each tank, where it's only like about a quarter of the upper water space. Then when I leave on my trips, usually Danny will eliminate all of it. She takes it all out. And then I slowly go and find some and put it back in. Let's see. Make sure I didn't miss nothing in the chat. Yes, I got gnats. Steve, I've got freaking fruit flies. And now the new thing plaguing Daniken Aquatics is my wife, because of all the reptiles, now has crickets that escape, and those little bastards will chirp all night long, man, and you can never find them. Then once in a while I go to take a bath, there'll be a cricket in the bathtub, cricket on my sofa when I'm eating my dinner. Like, man, how are all these crickets all of a sudden everywhere? Daniela. Well, the current pace things are going, I'm guessing I'm going to be done somewhere just with these back rooms around the time the stream's going to start at the rate I'm going here. Hopefully I can get this room done and the room behind me done. And then this evening, while I'm on that ASC stream, I will do the room that I'm in, and then hopefully, I'm hoping that I'll at least have the 240 draining before the stream and have that most of the way filled before I start the stream. We'll see. My goal right now are these two rooms back here, and we'll see where it takes us from there. Yes, I've got aphids in a few of mine too, Jody. Especially the tanks with duckweed, they seem to hang on the top of that duckweed. Once I get these 4 on this particular rack here done, then I can start filling. I should probably do the glass because Told my wife that's one thing we've gotten away from is doing the fronts of the glass and all that, because I do plan to start shooting more full-length videos for YouTube again. Plus it helps with the shorts too, makes them look better. Yeah, those gnats can get around. We had a situation at our place here yesterday. My wife went to go get some plants and I heard the front door while she was gone open, so I was in the other room luckily, and all of a sudden Shiva goes apeshit. So I jump up and go see what the hell's going on. Just as I got around the corner, the front door was slamming. I go to look out front, nobody's out there. So I think it's one of my neighbors off to the right has been tracking, because my wife and I, if we're doing a quick run, a lot of times we'll leave our house front door unlocked. We know we're going to be right back. So I think maybe one of our neighbors, knowing that about us, has been coming in after we leave. Why, I don't know. But I'm going to get to the bottom of it and find out who it was. I know it's not my direct neighbor to my other side here because we're good friends with them. So I have some new people that moved in at the end of the street. So I'm wondering if it was them. Kind of goofy. They're probably lucky they didn't get shot. But luckily for them, I didn't have my weapon. The weapon was in the other part of the house. Not a doubt in my mind he was close. If I would have saw a person, that probably would have happened. Not really sure what their motive was, but Shiva scared them off. They probably... One thing about Shiva, if you don't know her, she will scare you, because I mean, she puts all of her hair back up on her back and make sure every tooth in her face is, you're looking at it while she's growling. So I'm sure that probably bothered them a little bit, whoever it was. Then when I yelled, I'm sure that they weren't expecting anybody to be there. But they didn't go towards the main drag where you would get out of here, so my father-in-law didn't see anyone. Which he lives the other side of us where he would have seen it. I'm almost thinking I'm going to change up the way I'm doing things here in a minute. Oh, Jesus Christ! man, and she wonders why. She wonders why I stroke out all the time.
All the time. That's a really terrible way to give your woman a compliment. You might give me a complex.
Yeah, right.
Ooh, there's some great moss hanging out on that wall. I'm gonna go grab some.
Shut up. I wouldn't trust anything on that wall because our neighbors are putting pesticides. Oh, for God's sakes, what's she even looking at? Oh my God. So I guess she's planning on, if you guys look at that wall out there, she's going to go out there and start gathering all that moss off that wall for her polydariums. Whatever. I don't trust stuff that comes from places with, don't know what our neighbors have been using over there, so I personally wouldn't mess with it. Yeah, she scared me, guys. Wasn't expecting to have somebody directly behind me when I looked up. Freaked me out, man. Yeah, water changes in somebody that's ADD. This is torture. Trying to be patient while you wait. Oh my goodness, what are you doing, Miss Haley? Good to see you, sister. Hope you're well. Haven't seen you in ever. It's good to see you. We're doing good. I had a stroke a little ways back, a couple of weeks back. Other than that, I'm doing good. Danny and I have fallen into the reptile hole, so we've been doing that quite a bit of late. We're up to 10 animals in the house now. If y'all don't know who Haley is with All About Aquatics, she's one of the original OGs of YouTube. She's been around for a very long time. Yeah, that's what they keep telling me, Jody. I'm really lucky. But I'll tell you guys something about doctors. They still have yet to figure out what caused these. And it all is falling on this neurologist appointment. Well, I got done with all the stuff I did at the hospital. I had to go see my primary, of course, in order to get the referral to the neurologist. So it took me 2 weeks to get into my personal doctor, who then referred me to the neurologist, who it's been an additional 2 weeks, and they still haven't got me in. So I don't know, it's like maybe I'll have 2 more strokes by the time they figure out a reason to actually have me come in and figure out what the hell's going on, but needless to say, it's got my wife spun. She's not real happy with them. It would be nice if we knew what caused it. That's the only problem we're not understanding. That's messed up, Haley. They're using chemicals to catch fish. That don't seem much fair to the fish having a fair chance, that's for sure. I know they're collecting them for the fish hobby, but still. I've always been afraid to keep the ropefish because they're escape artists. And that would make me mad if I was to wake up one day and find a couple of my ropefish on the ground. We have a panther chameleon. We have 3 crested geckos. We have a leopard gecko. We have a day gecko. And then we have White's tree frogs. And then we also have crocodile skinks. Red-eyed crocodile skinks. Those were the ones that I wanted. Now, unfortunately, we're in dispute with the people we got them from because one of the skinks that we picked up at that reptile event passed, unfortunately. He never would eat. So we think there might have been something wrong with him from the get-go, but I won't mention names, but this particular person basically told me to pound sand, is what they told me. So we'll remember that. One thing about us, we're not going to get angry. We'll just remember it, and she'll never see our business again, but I wasn't expecting, a full refund, but, maybe a discount on the next round or something would have been nice. But she pretty much just told me to pound sand. Yeah, we like those, Haley. Those things are so cool. They remind us of like a little baby dragon. The only problem with the crocodile skinks, they're not a type of reptile you get for a cuddler. They're not going to be the type you're going to have on your shoulder and have them hanging out with you. They're really a skittish little guy. So we don't plan to handle ours very little. Miss you too, Haley. Stay in touch, kid. It's good to see ya. That's good to see Miss Haley. The very first time I ever met her was that Fish Fam tour when I went to Lucas's place. The way the timing worked, I ended up being at Lucas's during shipping night, so Haley would come over to Lucas's for the shipping. So I was able to see her, hang out with her for a bit, which was kind of cool. Had I had more time, she was going to hop in my truck with me and we were going to go to Ohio Fish Rescue. But I had ran out of time and didn't have time to do it. So I had to be in Tennessee when she and I were talking in about 12 hours, so I literally would not have had enough time to get all the way to Ohio Fish Room place and back in time and then still make it down there. That's why I say next time, I mean, there was a lot of places I had to bypass that I would have liked to have stopped at. I had an invitation to go to Rusty's place, I had an invitation to Bosch's place, a couple of different places that I didn't go to because I was out of time. I gotta check and see how fast. This seems like it should be draining faster than this. I got back here already. All the damn right, Pep, I hit your place, didn't I? Damn right I hit the best places. All right, gosh, Lee, hour and 13 minutes already. 2 tanks down is all. All I got are 2 tanks almost drained at this point. This hose is taking way too long. Daniela, we're gonna have to invest in a bigger drain hose with a bigger suction.
You got the motor that
Wow. Well, when I met him the first time, Pep, it was already well past his waist, those dreadlocks. I miss that kid. He's a good kid. Part of the reason it's taken so long, guys, is I do take, on these plecos, every time I do their water changes, I take them down to 70%. So they get a 70% water change twice a week. And within 3 hours of doing them, it won't even look like I touched them. So what are you and Roxanne doing this weekend, Pep? You finally got a down day where you can stick around the house? I know you guys been busy with swaps. Ew. Yeah, I always hate when those snails die because they're not too good to the water parameters when those snails start dying. They're Big Steve. Never any fun. And Danny and I's long-range goal, we've kind of come to the conclusion that as we get closer to the retirement years, we're thinking of moving our main home down to Florida, which would make it so I'm closer to my cottage in Wisconsin. And once the day comes we're retired, I could see us spending 9 months out of the year in Florida and 3 months, the 3 summer months up at Wisconsin up there. And 1 block off of Lake Castle Rock, which is my favorite lake in the world to fish. It would be cool to be where all the fish events always are at anyway, so it would be nice to be where I'd be within driving distance of all the eastern side of the United States events. You guys have a lot more than we do out here, so that would be fun. Yeah, cyanobacterias, I get that quite a bit in, it seems like duckweed and guppy grass involved tanks always seem to get that. If a tank's got a lot of duckweed and guppy grass, they almost always get that. It is closer to what I am now, Pep. I can make it up there from Florida probably in what, 12 and a half, 13 hours maybe? The way I drive. It's better than 36 to 40 that it would take me the other way, but actually I shouldn't say that. I think my best I've ever made it from here to your area is like 26 hours. But that's hauling. I mean, that's doing averaging probably 10, 15 miles over and not sleeping much, just going straight through. There's no way I'll ever get Danny convinced on moving to Wisconsin full time. There's no way. She would not be any part of those winters, man. And she hates storms in general, so I should get a net to get some of this duckweed out of some of these while I'm sitting here doing nothing. Bring the trash with me so I can just dump it straight into the trash. It's good to thin the herd of this stuff once in a while. to where there's too much where I can't bag the fish when I want. All right, we're ready to change this one around now. That's enough. This tank's really got a buildup of detritus. These plecos are just pigs, man. Be good to get them all good and clean. Now this particular tank, I'm probably going to take down a little more than usual. I'll probably take this 80% drain. So I would like some of this green water to go away a little bit. I don't like it this heavy. Got to be able to see the fish. Problem is, once you start with green water, it is a pain in the butt to get rid of green water once you've started it. But there are species of fish that if you can't get them going any other way, you let your water green up like this and for some reason gets them going. When I first get in here, I like to make sure I go through every ounce of ground cover and suck every bit of poop up that I can possibly get. And when you're doing it blindly, because the whole tank is green water, you got to be careful, because I don't know if I have new babies or anything like that. So I'm always watching the tube to make sure that there's nothing living going into this. And then the other thing I do on the other end of this drain line, I always make sure to put it to where it's in a bucket or the pond that's out there, so if something was to somehow make it through this hose and out, that I can always collect them back and put them in the tank they belong in. Makes it so I don't have to sit here and be as anal while I'm going through the water change, and I can get just doing my business. The main tank where that's an issue is the tank I'm going to be doing next, because that tank has a bunch of my blue diamond shrimp in it. And if anybody's ever kept shrimp, the one thing you're guaranteed with them, if you're draining water, they are going to find the hose and figure out a way to get into it, because they're retarded like that. There's a lot of detritus built up in this one. I don't know where. This has probably the least amount of plecos in it out of all my other tanks, but it always, I don't know if it's these 397s are just a filthy little animal or what the deal is, but they always seem to have the most detritus. Must be all them greens they're eating go through quickly or something, I don't know. What's going on, Melvin? Good to see you, brother. Let's see. Yeah, Danny and I are getting excited to finally be getting stuff moving up around here finally. It's hard for us in the summertime because summertime is boat time. And we didn't get a lot of boat time this year because of the other projects we had going. And now we feel pretty violated because we didn't get our boat time this year. But it happens, man. If you have a fish house and fish rooms, and you tend to get busy with other things, so the boating becomes the second thing. All right, guys, be right back. I gotta refill my teas. Gots to have the tea. Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations, Melvin. He says he has a new nephew called Theo Albert Rixey. Well, congratulations, man. Great uncle. Wow. That's awesome. Great Uncle Melvin. That's got a nice ring to it, Mel. Kids are so much fun. Especially when you can spoil them and send them home. That's the best kind. Now I like it when I'm able to stay in here while doing the water changes because I actually stay on top of the gravel cleaning. And as I'm draining it, I see the other spots that I missed, so I'm able to get back in there and get them. Normally when I'm doing this, if I'm not streaming or whatever, I'll be out doing other things like the front glass or whatever, so I tend to do a little bit of this that I'm doing now and don't get it as good as I should sometimes, so it feels good actually getting all of these really good today. And I can tell when I'm hitting a nice spot that needs some loving because I see the whole thing filled with detritus and all kinds of gnarlies. So Pep, you and Roxy got the first month under the belt. How's old marriage life, buddy? All right. Yeah, it's going to be fun getting on the football stream. We haven't got to talk any smack all year about all these games and all the stuff that's going on in the Fish Fam Fantasy Football League. We'll get into that a little bit tonight. We'll also get into predictions and whatnot, what we think is going to happen by the end of the year here. I don't think anybody can predict a Super Bowl champ this year. There's way too many teams very evenly matched this year, so it's going to be interesting. Even my Vikings still technically have a shot, which we've been playing pretty good ball of late, so I'll be anxious to see how it turns out if we end up making the playoffs this year. Yeah, it's been a weird year. You ain't got to tell me that, Pep. I ain't too happy with the way my Vikings have turned out, that's for sure. Alright, I thought we were getting a little bit more nasties on this side, so I'm going to go back over here and see if there's any more showing up here. Which there is. Now, if this tank was a producing tank, I wouldn't be able to get away with this as much because I wouldn't get away with what I'm doing here with the Super Reds because there's so many in that tank. Now you know that it's Foxanne on Petlin's account. Now you've been had, Roxanne. I know you're coming in as Peplin. Go Steelers. You done gave yourself away, Roxanne. But it's good to see you too. I think definitely Aaron Rodgers has made your team better, but your defense has been better this year too, Foxanne, so that might have something to do with it. Man, there's a lot of nutrients in this water right now. I'm not liking this tank. What up, Moose? Good to see you, sir. Always good to see you guys. She says she is not here. Okay, Pep. They're doing good, boss. Breeding like crazy. I showed everybody earlier. This is the leopard frog tank. They're really going nuts. If I lift this log, you'll see just how many are in here. They like to hang out there, and they also hang out on this one. Breeding like crazy. Aren't they got good yellow in them, guys? Look at these leopard frogs. Darn near perfect. But they're doing very good. Everybody's growing like weeds, and these leopard frogs are probably producing, I don't know, they give me a batch of fry about every other month, and they give me 15 to 20 fry per brew. So I've been selling the crap out of them, and I still got this many left. But we got one more event. Now I'm probably off the res. I'm going to take all the babies I have for that event. And I've got just as many super whites now. And then king tigers, I've got a new batch of those. I've probably got, I don't know, 25, 30 of those. I've got about 15 of the super whites. Probably about, I don't know, 100 to 150 super red fry. And then I've got probably just as many longfin albino fry. So we got some plecos. I don't necessarily think we're going to get them all gone with the events that are left for the year, but it'll just make it so I have bigger ones for Findig and the other events I'll be doing next year. But we'll see, though. I might have taken a few batches of the super reds and the other bristlenose to the couple of the local fish stores just to keep the populations under control a little bit. Well, I might have to start the water early because I don't like what I'm seeing on these super white or the super reds. They must not be getting. There's air flowing though, so this should be fine. I do mine usually I try to do them twice a week. Definitely once a week, Moose, but most of the time it's twice a week. Just to keep up on the detritus, man. If I didn't, then I have noticed if I slack on water changes, they stop breeding, man. So I always am doing water changes on these guys. Then we also have our L157s breeding regularly as well. Haven't started selling those yet. I'm holding some of those back for the time being because I only have a group of 3 at the moment. So I might end up keeping some of the babies. What I'd like to do is find another breeder that's doing them that's separate from the lines that I have and maybe do some swapping. Few of my fry for a few of his fry just so I can keep my genetics good and keep the colony going. If you're trying to get them influenced to breeding, the other thing that works really well for me, Moose, always when you're wanting to condition them to get them ready for breeding. Now, 129s, if I remember right, aren't those a meat eater as well? But what I do on my meat eaters is I'll give them a brine and I'll give them bloodworms, and then usually they're always getting a high quality cichlid type pellet, but I beef it up and give them a lot of the real meaty foods, and then along with the water changes. And then what I do when I'm replacing the water is I'm always putting the water back in around 3 degrees less, 3 to 5 degrees less than what they're currently sitting at. And that usually makes them think like it's raining, and if they're thinking of breeding, that will usually get them going. Like, I won't be surprised, because it's been a while since I've seen a brew out of these RB lines, and I know it's because I haven't been giving them the goodies lately. So, Danny and I, that was one of the projects we've been waiting to get done, was to actually get time to go get fish food, get all the... So we had a local fish store that needed some of our fish, so I cashed in all my store credit with them and bought all frozen foods. I bought a bunch of bloodworms, krill, and then of course brine. I'm lazy, I should be doing my own brine. I've got all the stuff to just make my own brine. I just never take the time to do it. Thinning out my duckweed colony. Get this out of here. I always leave some of it because I do believe it helps with getting shit sucked out of that water. Helps get some of them impurities out. And I know they're doing their job because they're... All right. How you doing, John? Good to see you. Yes, you're right, Pep. They used to call those the poor man's zebra. I kept that fish for a few years. Well, that was just a pet. I didn't have... I think actually I still do have one upstairs somewhere. All right, we're getting there. About 2 hours into it, got 2 tanks drained. I probably will kill the stream here at the worst case 3 hour mark, because it's not fair for me to sit here and suck up stream time. Probably kill it here in about 15 minutes actually. That way I can be doing the things I need to be doing. So I want to get all this front glass clean on these and a few other things. But I'll be still having time to do all that while I'm filling, so I'll work on that while I'm filling the tanks. Figured I'd take a couple hours, at least reach out to y'all, see what the heck everybody's been doing. Now Danny and I will be doing our stream this week. Last week there was no way, we were just too sick. Normally yes, but the question was, do you match water temp when you do water changes? On normal fish tanks, yes. The ones that are my show tanks. On my breeding pleco tanks, no. On my breeding pleco tanks, I usually change the water temp by 3, sometimes upwards of 5 degrees, so I can mimic the fresh rain coming as they would have in the wild, and that is what triggers them to breed. So, normal tanks, yes, exact match. Pleco tanks usually 3, sometimes 5 degrees hot, a little chillier. It's in the garage. I haven't winterized it, John, because Danny and I mean, one thing about Oregon, we are known to have some nice days in November, December, January, February, where you might have an 80-degree day that comes out of nowhere. So on those days, we like to get the boat out. I mean, I do some of the winterizing stuff. I mean, I top the tank off with premium and make sure I blow out all the air lines of the water lines, I should say, for the live wells and all that, just to make sure they don't. But the one advantage we have in Oregon, we don't freeze solid like a lot of the Midwest does, so I don't have to be as nuts as if I were living in the Midwest where, you know, you get below 0 temps, and then I would probably have to be a little bit more on top of things. That's one thing I like about my property in Wisconsin, Dave. I got deer all over it. It's not very uncommon to be sitting there watching TV, and next thing you know, you look up, you got a deer peering through the cabin window at you. I always enjoy seeing them. Last year when I was there, we had like 3 or 4 fawns with the mix, so the cute little guys with their little spots on them were in their yard. So this next tank I really got to be careful with. This is the one that, so you guys can see what I'm dealing with here. This is my 157 tank, but I've got a colony of these guys in here. These are the blue diamond shrimp. And they just happen to be a few that were stuck on some plants that I put in here. They weren't intentionally dropped in here. And because of the warmer water that this tank is, these things have went absolutely nuts. Danny and I were figuring it out. I mean, I took 8 bags of 15 plus per bag to Fishtoberfest. And then the previous swap, I took another 6 bags of 15 per bag. And it still doesn't even look like I put a dent in them. So I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm obviously going to put all the plecos in a 40, but I don't know where I'm going to put these shrimp. I'm just going to leave them in this bow front and find a new hole for where I can put this, is what I'm going to do probably. But eventually I'd like to sell out of these shrimp. My wife and I have decided that the shrimp are another thing that we're going to get out of. There's plenty of other fish fam out there to do shrimp, so I don't think the world will be hurting if Dana can quit doing shrimp. So we're going to, yet another sacrifice we're going to make just so we can keep things going where they need to go. Yep, peeping deer. They do it up there quite often too. I don't mind them. I like them being around. The only thing I don't like is there are some new people that have moved into our neighborhood there. And last year, one night, I heard a couple of pops in the neighborhood, and I'm pretty certain they're poaching deer is what they're doing. Can't prove it. I go looking, but I can't find the source of who's shooting. But I'm pretty certain that's what it is. They're poaching deer. Which I never have understood people, why they can't just play by rules and, you know, hunt in normal times. But there's always bad apples in every hobby, right? There's always somebody out there that feels they're above the law and they're going to do it their way. Woo! One thing about that safe, though, I got to tell you, that is a smell I'm sure most folks can live without. That good old safe smell. So So once I get this one drained, I think I will drain this 157 tank. Then once I start this 306 tank, I'll start the water a-flowing to start filling here. Then after I'm done with this room, I'm gonna go to the room behind me. I'm hoping I can get that done by 5 my time today. It must be close to 1 o'clock already, so I would say that my ambitions are probably not gonna make it. Because I do have a stream tonight at 6 o'clock for the ACE Aquatic Sports Entertainment Network. My buddies from the old ACE will be there. Peplin, I think, was saying he might be there. And then we've got Ed, and we usually have Skipper, and then Whip occasionally shows up, and then Scotty, and a couple other guys that you all know that will usually hang out in that stream. Then on my bristlemost tank, I am going to have to split the super red tank because the males have been beating the hell out of it. All their faces are just white from getting the stupid bristles to their face because I don't have enough caves for the amount of males that have. We have some holdover males that I wasn't able to get sold before they got of age, so they've been fighting with the current males for the caves that are in there. So I think what I'll do tonight, when I'm putting this one back together, is I'm going to add about six more caves. Still in ya, man. It's all the people I haven't seen in a while showing up today. Good to see you, mister. Haven't seen you in a while either, man. It's good to see you. I still got a bunch of water changes I'm going to be doing upstairs too. My goal was to get down here done tonight and then hopefully work on those tomorrow. But I think tomorrow's getting screwed up because we've got a few people from the club that have already been asking if we're going to be there tomorrow. So that's right. That is right, still in you. Enjoy every day as if it's your last. That's right. Because you never know when it's going to be. So you've been staying out of trouble, Sil? I keep going over and seeing Catfish Terry and his family once in a while. I went into Carver's for a little bit yesterday. Him and Terry were fishing for crappie and bluegill and stripers, and that was kind of cool. They were catching all 3 species pretty quickly. They had a bunch, but they don't eat nothing. That's the only strange thing. You got 3 of the finest eating panfish in the world, and they don't keep them and eat them. Although I do know a lot of them southern lakes and stuff, a lot of people don't eat any fish out of them in the summer months because they're so full. You got married? What? I didn't think you were ever be the marrying type there still. What the heck's going on? You getting soft on us in your old age? Well, congratulations, man. Damn, I don't know what, all my single buddies are getting married. Peplin's married now, you're married. Everybody's getting civilized. Yeah, wives are good at keeping you in check. God knows, Danny, if I didn't have Danny in my life, I'd probably be a whole lot of trouble. All right, on to this one now. God, you stupid ass, get out. I hate, this is the one tank in this house I hate cleaning. And it is because of the amount of shrimp. I just can't not, and I cannot not do the gravel cleaning because of the plecos. So I can't wait to get the plecos in their own tank. Which, as soon as this fish room is done, they will have their own 40, so that will be good. But I keep having to cut off the flow so these damn shrimp can get out. Yes, get out. Yeah, there's nothing that makes me more mad still than people that are like that, that there's plenty of pet stores out there that will take plecos in, so I don't understand why people feel the need to turn them loose in the local waters. Because when they do end up in local waters, they do create a lot of trouble. But every year, somebody else gets caught doing it. And every so often I like to go out and check where I've got my water going out there, just to make sure I got no shrimps. All right, got that looking good. No shrimp made it out there, so I must be doing a pretty good job. I'm not continuing to suck without checking to make sure I haven't gotten any shrimp. But to give you guys an idea of what I'm dealing with, watch when I go through here. Look at all them shrimp. I already got 2 in there again. And then I have to cut it off, get the dummies to go out to the bottom. Get out. Go. Bastards. All right. Holy gosh, we've been at it 2 hours already, guys. What's going on, Sideshow? Good to see you. Yeah, this house was built in 64 or 65. Actually, what's under that Sideshow is they put that coil type heat in the ceilings, which by far is the worst design ever. We're hoping with the windows we don't even have to run it this year is what we're hoping for. All right. What's going on, Scotty? All right, we might as well get the water flowing now. This is the part where it starts to feel like I'm gaining ground. All right. Now we got our water flowing, we're good there. Okay. Yes, I'm 6'3", almost 6'4", but I've been shrinking in my older years, so now I'm down around 6'3". Feels good to be getting some of this done. You guys know how it is when you get behind and when you finally get the opportunity to start working on them, you start feeling good about what you're getting accomplished. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the stream because I need to work on getting this glass, and I don't want to be rude and not talk to you all while I'm doing so. So I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and end the stream. I appreciate you all showing up. Be sure to check out the ACE Network tonight, the Aquatics, Sports, and Entertainment Network. We will be doing a show tonight to discuss what's been going on in the Fish Fam football leagues, and then of course talk general football. It's going to be great. We haven't done one this year yet. Now that I've decided to sign back up for StreamYard, I figure we might as well start using the ACE network as well, see if we can start getting that built up a little better. Ed and I love talking football, and then we've got Peplin that usually joins us, Whips and Skipper and a few others. You never know who's going to show up at ACE. We just have fun, and it's more of a hangout stream. We talk football, have a good time. Other than that, Danny and I will be live tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern for our normal stream. I appreciate y'all. Jody P, appreciate you signing on board as a member today. Greatly appreciated. And then also I want to take the time to thank each of my members. You guys make it so we can get things done around here. Greatly appreciated. And then of course all you folks that came and spent 2 hours with me today. Appreciate y'all. You guys have a great night. And moderators, thanks for keeping us safe. As always, love your fish. This will be Kenny E. Check it out for now. You guys have a good one.